How do you get $250,000 or more in business credit to grow your business? I'm about to tell you right now. And yes, I'm talking about the real business credit, the credit you can get without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check, the kind of credit you can get needing no collateral, even as a startup. And again, even if you don't need to verify revenue and without even a check on your personal credit report. How do you get $250,000 or more? Well, I'm going to map out the exact steps to succeed, and you're going to leave this training with a blueprint, a roadmap to be able to successfully build business credit. Look, I've helped tens of thousands of paid clients build business credit. Over 1 million have downloaded my guides on the step-by-step process, and I wrote the best-selling book of all time on business credit building. I know a little bit about it, and I'm going to reveal everything you need to know to succeed right now. We got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. So look, you absolutely can build business credit and use it for your business to fund itself. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is oftentimes people rely on personal credit, personal guarantees to be able to fund their business. And that is the wrong way to do it. The reality is you could build a business, then build a minimal small business credit profile and score, use that to springboard off of to get more and more credit, higher and higher limits, and use the credit that you're getting to build the business along the way. Your business is funding itself without personal guarantees, without personal credit check, without using personal assets as collateral, without needing to look at personal income, even business revenue, if you do it the right way. And that is the kicker, because most people that try to build business credit just do it the wrong way. They just screw it up, to be honest with you. They screw it up. They do it the wrong way. They're listening to people that know very little about business credit building. Maybe something worked for them and they teach it online, and then it doesn't work for you, and then people give up because it doesn't work. Stop all that. Stop it. I'm going to teach you the formula right now to succeed. So let's dive into these steps. Step number 1. This is it. This is the step everybody skips because we're business owners and we want to be out there doing stuff and we don't want to pay attention to the details. But the problem is that the details matter, because if you want to build an initial business credit profile and score, you have to get the details right. Now, this is called funding ready. And there's 5 steps to the funding ready framework. I don't have time to map them out for you right now. You can go to fundingready.com to get more information on how funding readiness works. But I can tell you this much. The 5 components that you need to get your business set up the right way, though, if you do this sets you up for success, is you have to configure the business the right way. You have to set up the business where it looks legitimate to lenders. The next thing is you got to have online credibility. You have to look credible. If you don't look credible, nobody's going to give you the instant approvals you need for accounts to start reporting on your business credit reports. And there's a lot of things they look at in credibility, including online listings and reviews and other stuff. So make sure you go to fundingready.com and it breaks it all down. The third thing is credit worthiness. Now, in this case, it's business credit. It's what is on your business credit report and score. So this is where we're going to want to get set up with D&B, Equifax, Experian, get our DUNS number, start that beginning step of building business credit. Next is capacity. Does it look like we have the ability to be able to pay back the credit that we're actually getting? We need to show lenders and credit issuers that we do, especially lenders when you start to get loans. And next is capital leverage. Are we applying for the right kind of funding at the right time based on our strength, cash flow, credit, or collateral? That's the nice thing about business credit. It doesn't need a strength for you to be able to get approved, but you want to make sure that you're sequencing the right kind of business credit cards in order. Everybody messes this up. I invented this decades ago called the tiering system. I'm going to teach you the tiering system right now so you understand the right sequencing to be able to get approved. So you want to start by making sure that your business is funding ready. If you don't look credible, okay, if you're not configured the right way, if you don't have the right credit worthiness from a lender's perspective or credit issuer's perspective, you're never going to get approved for your initial accounts. You can go to fundingready.com and get the exact step-by-step formula there. Okay, next, once we start making sure that our business, once we establish our business set up the right way where it's credible, the next thing we want to do is we want to start building initial business credit. There's 3 ways we can do this. There's 2 of 3 that I recommend. The one that I don't necessarily recommend is going and actually paying Dun Bradstreet to actually build accounts and add accounts you already have to your Dun Bradstreet credit report and score. First of all, I love D&B. And I love their Credit Builder program. It's phenomenal. But the problem is that when you use Credit Builder, you're only building credit with D&B. And a lot of lenders use Equifax and credit issuers use Experian. So you really need to build a well-balanced business credit profile with D&B, Equifax, and Experian. And if you pay D&B money, to be able to build your profile with them and take accounts you already have and report it to DMB, you still are going to have to take one of the other two steps to build initial credit with Experian and Equifax. So you really need to focus on two of the main ways to build initial business credit. One requires good personal credit, one doesn't. So let's start with the one that's good personal credit. It's called Credit Line Hybrid. You can look it up online. Credit Line Hybrid is where we're stacking credit cards that report to the business credit reporting agencies. You have to be careful here. Most credit card stacking companies out there will get you personal credit cards. It's how they're getting you so much money, but they're not getting you the real stuff that you want, which is the stuff that reports to the business credit reporting agencies. And that's the credit you really want to have, because now we're getting 50, 100, 150,000 in real credit lines we can use, oftentimes at 0%. But we're also getting accounts that help us build business credit because they report to the business credit reporting agency. I don't want a $50,000 credit card that reports on my consumer credit reports. I want a $50,000 credit card that reports on my business credit reports. So as I'm using it, it gets me more and more and more credit usage. It then shows and it helps me get higher and higher and higher limits. We'll talk about that later, but it's very, very, very important, because as you're going to learn about in this training, business credit building is about using the credit that you have. If you use the credit that you have, that's what gets you higher and higher limits, and that's what gets you to 250K. So you want to get credit you're actually going to use. And you know what? If I got a Visa card at 0% for 18 months, I'm going to use that, especially if it's helping me build business credit. So Credit Line Hybrid, great way to go, but you need 680, 700 FICO scores to even be considered for that program, or have a signer, a guarantor that can actually help you get approved. The other option is the most popular option to build business credit. Everybody does it wrong, but it is the best way to do it because it's not based on consumer credit. And this is called using starter vendor accounts. So starter vendor accounts are vendors that basically do two unique things. One, they will give you credit when you have none. So what I mean by it is that they will approve you for credit even if you have no other credit on your actual business credit reports. You've heard it before. I've heard it before. It takes money to get money, right? Everybody says, well, how am I supposed to go out and get credit and financing if it takes, credit and financing and a track history to be able to get it? Like, it's a vicious cycle. So how we break that cycle is we get approved for vendors that will give us credit when we have none. And these starter vendors are also unique because they take the credit they give you and they report it to the business credit reporting agencies. Look, it's estimated that over 90% of all vendors out there that issue credit to lend to entrepreneurs do not report the credit that they actually give you to a business credit reporting agency. Over 90%. So 9 out of 10 vendors that you're going to go out and get credit with, they don't report the credit they give you to a business credit reporting agency. So we got to find vendors that fit in a very, very, very specific small category. They will give us credit when we have none. They report the credit they give us to the business credit reporting agencies. Now, some of my favorites here are Uline. I love Uline because you don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops. They'll give you credit when you have none. They report to multiple business credit reporting agencies. They're easy to get approved. I buy a ton of first aid kits, batteries, all kinds of stuff there, but they sell a lot of different things that you could actually use. CEO Creative is another one. CEO Creative sells like swag and all kinds of other stuff you probably need to get your business off the ground, and they've got a great account to help you start building initial business credit. Credit Strong is a great one to give you a high limit account. So those are just a few of my favorite ones. I've got a guide at creditsuite.com/EIN, and that guide gives you even more starter vendors you can use, or you can follow me right here, and I'm going to give you access to a lot more vendors that will help you build initial business credit. Look, I don't care how you build initial business credit. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that you get 3 to 5 accounts on your business credit reports. And you have to have 3 accounts reporting to Dun Bradstreet to even get your Paydex score with them. So you need to have 3 to 5 accounts reporting with your DMB, your Equifax, and your Experian. I'm not saying 3 and 5 to each. I'm saying if I pull your DMB, pull your Equifax, pull your Experian, and you can get all of your business credit reports at creditsuite.com/monitoring. It doesn't matter to me if you use the links or not. I'm just trying to give you the shortcuts and help you save money and time, okay? So you need to have 5 accounts across DMB, Equifax, and Experian. If you got 3 with DMB, 1 with Equifax, 1 with Experian, it counts, okay? And this is what we call payment experiences. And payment experiences matter because if I get approved for 1 credit issuer that reports to 2 reporting agencies, it gives me 2 payment experiences. So if we're going to get to 250K, then we need to start getting credit with vendors that report to multiple business credit reporting agencies. And that's why, help and coaching and software and stuff like Credit Suite offers definitely helps you. But if you're doing it on your own, you just want to make sure here that you're actually getting 5 accounts that report to all 3 reporting agencies. Then you kick back and you wait, and you need to let those accounts report typically in about 30 days. Okay. So now at this point, we've got business credit reports and we've got business credit scores. It takes one item on your report with Equifax and Experian to get a report score. It takes 3 with D&B. So at this point, if we've done it properly, we've got at least 3 accounts with D&B. We've got 1 at least with Experian and Equifax. Now we've got reports. Now we've got scores with all the reporting agencies. Now we're moving to the next tier of business credibility. I'm going to talk about tier like cry. Talk about tier, T-I-E-R. And a tiering system means that these vendors will approve you if you have 5 accounts in your business credit reports, while other vendors might take 10 or 15 or 20. So in this area, we're starting to get approved for like retail credit. I call it retail credit at major retailers, right? This is where we talk about Staples and Home Depot and Lowe's. And it's where we talk about Sam's Club and Dell and like Best Buy and John Deere, all these guys that will give you credit based on your business credit quality only if you have enough accounts to get approved. Now, here's the kicker. I can't give you this many accounts to this vendor. I can't do it because it changes all the time. At Credit Suite, we have a full data team that all they do is go into our software and verify those sources regularly every day, and then we update our software. So our Lendavo software is updated all the time with the accounts you can get approved for based on how many accounts you have in your business credit reports. But if I gave you that list today, without exaggeration, tomorrow it would expire. I can just tell you that this is the part where you start to get approved with credit with retailers. Now, again, not to self-promote, but this is the nice thing about working with a company that can coach you and help you and that has software to tell you what you can and can't get. If you don't have that, that's okay. You can go the path of doing it on your own, but you got to be patient. Because Home Depot might require 3 accounts to get approved while Lowe's requires 5. And if nobody's telling you that you don't know, then you're going to have to go and try and apply. And then you're going to have to deal with a little bit of frustration getting denied, knowing that you can't get approved yet, and then moving on to other retailers until you start getting approved. But don't give up. If I apply for Home Depot and I have 3 accounts in my business credit reports, I get denied. I don't want to give up on Home Depot. I want to come back when I have 7 accounts, and then I want to try Home Depot again. Just know the secret of business credit building is that you actually have to have a certain amount of accounts on your business credit reports to unlock most tiers and most types of credit. So if I have 14 accounts on my business credit reports, I can get auto financing without a personal guarantee and credit check. But I can't get it if I don't have 14 accounts, as an example. So that's how the tiering system works. If you've got software and coaching, you fly through it. You're through it quick, like 3 months, 6 months, you're to the end of the business credit building process. If you're doing it on your own, it could take years because of this trial and error to figure out who will approve you and then use that credit. And then you go back and you continue to trial and error to figure out who else will approve you. And as you add more accounts to your business credit reports, more and more tiers, more and more types of credit will become available for you. Now, here's some of the tips that will give you along the way. First of all, you have to use the credit that you're actually given, okay? Just getting approved doesn't matter. You have to actually use the account and pay the bill. Second tip is you need to pay the bill early. Business credit scores are based on how you pay. So the earlier I pay, the higher my scores. So it's not okay to pay it on time. I want to pay it early because that gives me a higher score. And the higher scores I get, well, the better terms I'm going to get on business credit cards, loans, and credit lines, okay? Nextly, I want to use as much on these credit cards as I actually can use and pay it back responsibly. Look, if you look at your business credit reports, you're going to notice something. They don't tell you what the limit of your credit cards is. They tell you the recently high amount that you've used. So what business credit reporting agencies are telling you is that it doesn't matter if a credit issuer gives you a limit of $5K if you only spend $100 on that credit card. What matters is that you spend $5K. That's what shows in your business credit reports, and that is what gets you the subsequent future higher approvals. If I get business credit and I only use $100 here, $200 here, $300 here, then the next credit I get approved for is going to be $500, $1,000, $2,000 limit. But if I get approved for business credit and I use $1,000 here to $2,000 here, then my next limits will be $5K. And then if I use $3K and $4K, then my next limits will be $10K. And then you start to jump to $20K. You go from 10 to 20 like that. You go from 20 to 50 like that. But they're only going to give you those jumps if you're showing that you're actually going to use the credit you're given. And this is where so many people screw up business credit building. They just try to get an account because it's what they can get approved for, even if they're not going to use it, right? They're out there getting gas cards when they're like me. I don't work on the field. I work in an office. So I don't need a gas card because I'm rarely ever going to use it. What I need is office supplies. I need Amazon. I need Office Depot, right? That's the stuff I'm going to use regularly and show that I'm spending a lot of money and using it. And when I spend money and use these credit cards, even if I have less, but I'm showing I'm using it, my limits will get higher and higher and higher. I make these big jumps. up to $20,000, $50,000. And that's how you get to $250,000 pretty quickly. So next, after this, we start to get this retail credit. Then we can move into what's called fleet credit. These are credit cards at gas stations, like every major gas station out there, Pilot Flying J, Sunoco, Conoco, BP, Chevron. You get the deal, right? So these is where we can get high limit accounts to basically fuel vehicles. Again, if you work in an office like me, it doesn't matter. If you're an over-the-road trucker, lifesaver, right? Because $600 to $1,000 to fill your tank. It's even more than that right now with gas prices higher. So now you're able to come in and get the actual credit you need to be able to fund the business, be able to buy the fuel that you need. And then we get to the final tier. And the final tier of it is auto financing. It's Visa and MasterCard, what we call universal and cash credit. And you get here when you have 14 accounts on your business credit reports and scores. So remember, it's about getting credit, using credit, and then continuing that cycle. And if you're doing that, that's what gets you to the end of the business credit building process in about 14 accounts or so. And that's when you have a really well-established business credit report. That's when you're able to get auto financing on almost any kind of credit card without personal credit checks and guarantees. And then that goes a long way to helping you get funding along the way. It's a lot, I know. I mapped it out for you step by step at creditsuite.com/EIN. Guide's been downloaded over 1 million times. It's known as like the Business Credit Bible. It will help you through your journey, so make sure you grab it. And then also just make sure you smash the like button and subscribe, because I also do a lot of shorts, little 1 to 2 minute shorts that give you a lot of tips along the way that will help you, and longer videos like this that map out very effective strategies. So make sure that you like and subscribe, and keep your eye out for the next training where we talk about more cool ways to get the money you need to start and grow your business.